For centuries, men and women have stepped away from the table to fast, to pray, to seek something deeper. But what does a 40-day fast look like today? I'm Dr. Sam, King of Fasting, and in this podcast, I invite you to walk with four ordinary people on an extraordinary journey. Welcome back to day 15. All of us, well, except for Davey, pretty much all of us had broken our fasting record on day 15. Brand and I had done a 14-day fast, so had Chelsea. Davey had done a 30-day fast at that point, so he is day 31 will have broken his fasting record. We all officially broken our fasting record. And we kind of started to prepare for continuing our fast, but also like preparing for the end of our fast. So Chelsea got a steak for putting in her freezer after the end of her fast. She always craves steak and fish, so she's just getting prepared and just going to have that. I got lab work done. I only had black tea before my lab work because I didn't want my milk to affect my lab work. So I had black tea in the morning. I had some coffee and oat milk afterwards. My labs were not bad. Nothing that I would have to get admitted for or anything hospitalized for or anything like that. My sodium was on the bottom of normal. My chloride was slightly low. Nothing you'd have to, again, be treated about. But I realized I could have a little bit more salt. And so on the drive home, I got some sliced pickles and some raw almonds, and I felt better after the salty pickles. Brienne also needed some extra salt. She had a hot Epsom salt bath, added a little extra magnesium, and she had a piece of homemade bacon, salty bacon that I made. So good fasting fuel. Bacon's a fasting fuel. It's fat and protein, and it's salt. You can have a little bit of it, and you can have it as a fasting fuel. I mean, who didn't want to know that you couldn't have bacon and it wouldn't break your fast? So today's verse is, when I want to talk about salt, and I bet people like to talk about the salt of the earth, but I want to kind of a little different verse because we're talking about fasting, and some people have a lot of questions about that. And so Colossians 4:6 is, let your conversations always be full of grace, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how to answer everyone. Because you're going to be a lot of questions about how to answer people with fasting. And so seasoning with salt, added extra salt, needing extra salt. So I started adding some more salt to my diet. And one of the interesting things they found out from some research about fasting and taste is the potential effects. They did a long-term water fast, and they wanted people to fast for 5 days. And then after 3 days, they kind of tested their palate, and they had them eat whole foods. So after the water fast, they had a whole plant food diet free of added salt, oil, and sugar, because these foods were considered hyper palatable, which means we really enjoy these things. They have a lot of flavor for us. They assessed that 10 days after the start of the fast. So they did 5 days of fasting, 3 days of eating, and then that's 8 days, and then 2 more days after that. On day 10, they want to test how people would detect certain flavors. And salty taste recognition and sweet taste detection went up significantly. So that's interesting. They also found that the people that ate the whole food diet at day 10 and day 30, they reduced their salty food intake, they reduced their fatty food intake, they reduced their sweet food and fatty food liking, reduced their sugar intake, and they increased their vegetable intake just by fasting for 5 days. And 30 days later, they increased their vegetables. So one of the interesting things about fasting for me has been, I always hated green bell peppers. I hated them. I thought they were a strong flavor. I didn't like the way they taste. But after doing fasting, I actually like bell peppers now. I actually like the vegetable flavor. I actually like the real food, because sweetness is actually the preferred taste for humans, because it's an easy way for us to get energy. It's an energy resource. It means we're going to be able to pack on calories quickly. But when you fast, it kind of resets your palate and resets the foods that you kind of create. And it was interesting to me that a vegetable I would never eat, now I eat all the time. And I would never get fajitas because they're all full of bell peppers, and now I love fajitas. Fasting helps you with your salt intake, your food intake, your sugar intake, and it actually makes you like vegetables better. So there you go. One of the huge advantages of fasting. And you can be the seasoned salt when you have the conversation with people. So see you tomorrow on day 16.